So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the value of investment advice. Now we've had the RDR, the Retail Distribution Review, and the rules have changed for financial advisors. They can no longer receive payment by commission from product providers, and they have to charge fees to their clients. Their clients may well ask, should I be paying for financial advice? Am I getting value for money? Well, I really think financial advice is very important. If you think back to the days pre-2008 when we had what was known as the Goldilocks Economy, it wasn't too hot and it wasn't too cold, it was just right. Interest rates weren't too low, they weren't too high, they were steady at about 6 or 7% if you put your money in the bank. Inflation was on target at 2%. So if you had your money in the bank, you were actually retaining your purchasing power, you were getting wealthier. The stock market was doing very well. Most people's pension would be invested in the stock market, whether they realised it or not. So they were getting wealthier that way. And of course, the economy was doing well. Most people felt very secure about their jobs, and they would get a pay rise each year, and they could switch jobs if they felt like they needed to. And of course, house prices were in a very strong market, and many people felt that their property would secure their financial future. So that was the Goldilocks scenario prior to 2008. And I think really that made people very lazy. They didn't have to think too hard about their finances. It just felt like everything was going to take care of itself. Now, if you contrast that with the situation we have today, house prices are flat or negative. People can't rely on property to provide their pension anymore. The stock market, it has done well since 2008, but it's been very volatile, and a lot of people have had their fingers burned in the stock market, and they realise they can no longer just put money in the stock market and not pay any attention to it. Inflation has been as high as 5%, and inflation is still outstripping people's pay increases, people's salary increases, so people are starting to feel the pinch and feel poorer. And of course, interest rates, the Bank of England are holding them at historic lows, 0.5%. So if you put your money in the bank, you might get 1 or 2%. You're actually seeing your wealth eroded over time by the impact of inflation. People feel insecure about their jobs and the economy. We've had a double-dip recession. We've narrowly avoided a triple-dip recession, and the Bank of England have admitted it's going to be a very bumpy ride, and it's going to be what they call a zigzag path to recovery, as we have some periods of growth, some periods of decline, and it's going to be a very long and slow process getting back to where we were. So today we obviously have a much more difficult environment, and there are many more risks out there. The risk of stock market volatility, the risk of bond prices falling, people have difficulties purchasing an annuity that's going to provide them with the level of income that they require in their retirement. And people are having to think much more carefully and pay much more attention to their financial planning. And so I really think that makes a case for people having more financial advice. In the tough times, that's when advice can really pay for itself. And I really feel that IFAs, they should be out there and they should be making this case to people that they can add value by giving people quality financial advice.